In last episode, we asked a question. And the question was, which is the oldest piece of literature which is being read or even recited today? Not stored in a museum, but actually used by real people. And the answer is Rig Veda, one of the 4 Vedas of Hinduism, first written down somewhere between 1500 to 2000 BCE, which makes it 3500 to 4000 years old. Priests are still reciting it today across various temples in the same language, and they are doing the same pronunciation in which it was recited thousands of years ago. That's kind of astonishing when you think about it. It is older than Iliad, the epic Greek poem, or it is older than most of the Bible. So what are Vedas? Vedas means knowledge. And there are 4 Vedas. The oldest is, and the first is Rig Veda. Rig Veda is hymns and prayers about the nature of the universe, about the gods, and the meaning of existence. There are over 1,000 hymns, and this is probably the oldest text which is in use on the earth. The second Veda is Samaveda, the musical one. Melodies and chants for ritual use. Many of the hymns in Rig Veda are set to musical pattern in this Veda. This is considered to be the origin of the Indian classical music. The third is Yajurveda, the ritual one. It includes instructions for rituals and ceremonies. It tells you how to do things correctly. And then the fourth one is Atharva Veda. This is for everyday use. It contains remedies and hymns for everyday life. The most human of the 4, dealing with relationships, health, well-being, and the actual ways of living. And here is the interesting thing about Vedas. For thousands of years, they were not written down at all. They were memorized and passed on from teacher to student, word by word, generation to generations. And the tradition was not casual about it. Priests were trained to recite it forward, backwards, and 11 different patterns or combinations just to ensure that no single word or syllable gets missed or gets dropped when it is passed from one generation to the next generation. Modern linguistics has confirmed that the Sanskrit pronunciation hasn't changed over last 2,000-3,000 years. No other language on earth has preserved its text with this level of accuracy and precision across the time. Each Veda has 4 layers. The outward layer deals with hymns and rituals. And the innermost layer, it is the philosophical one. And that layer is called Upanishadas. And this is where it becomes interesting. The word Upanishad literally means sitting close, sitting next to each other, like a teacher and student. It doesn't mean talking loudly or shouting across a classroom. It's personal touch. There are 108 Upanishadas, and out of which 13 are the ones which are normally studied by everyone. And they are not hymns or rituals, they are philosophy. Real, rigorous, sometimes mind-bending philosophy. And it contains questions which they are asking. And these are probably the same questions which you and me would be asking. And the questions are like, who am I really? Not my name, not my body. What happens after we die? Is there anything which continues? What is consciousness? What is like being alive? Is there any connection between all these? These are thousands of year old texts asking the questions which modern neuroscience and philosophy are asking today. Not that all the questions have been answered, but the important part is it asks those questions with a remarkable depth thousands of years ago. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the most known philosophers of 19th century, he was a German. He had studied and knew the entire Western philosophy in and out. And then he came across Upanishads. And then guess what happened? He started keeping Upanishads on his desk and he would read them every morning, every evening. He called them the production of the highest wisdom. And he said they were the consolation of his life and death. A man who had everything which the Western philosophies had to offer, and he says Upanishads were the best thing he had ever read. That is definitely worth noting. The Upanishads have their Mahakavyas, great sayings. These are huge philosophical ideas compressed into few words or handful of words. The most famous one comes from Chandogya Upanishad. A father is teaching his son about the nature of reality, and he keeps pointing examples. Salt dissolving into the water, or a seed which has inside it the whole tree. All trying to show his son one single idea, the invisible essence which everything is made of. And at the end of each example, he says these Sanskrit words, Tattvamasi, that thou art, that means the one reality everything is made of, and thou art meaning you. The thing everything is made of, the same thing you are made of too. 3 words written 2500 years ago, and people are spending their whole life trying to understand it. And let's be honest, for us it is good to know that there are 3 words and what they mean. Then we move on to the next, Katha Upanishad, which has one of the most dramatic setups in this entire text. A young boy called Nachiketa, possibly a teenager, his father sends him to the house of Yama in a fit of anger. Yama, the god of death. Nachiketa arrives. Yama is not at home. So Nachiketa waits outside the house of death without food and water for 3 nights. When Yama returns, he finds Nachiketa and he feels embarrassed that the guest wasn't welcomed. So in compensation, he offers Nachiketa 3 wishes. Nachiket asks for 2 reasonable things as his first 2 wishes, and for the third, he asks Yama, what happens to a person after he dies? And Yama, the god of death himself, tries to avoid answering this question. He offers Nachiket pleasures, kingdom, wealth, anything he wants, but he doesn't want to answer this question, what happens to a person after he dies? Whatever Yama offers, Nachiket or Nachiketa refuses everything. He says, what good is wealth if I don't know what I am? What good are pleasures if I don't know what survives after death? Nachiketa keeps insisting for the answer. Yama's response, this is one of the deepest questions and even gods debate the answer. Then he gives Nachiketa the teaching or the insight into Atma or Atman, the eternal self which never dies or which was never born. Nachiketa has been described as young, possibly of your age. He's a kid who is asking question and refuses to settle for some distraction. So asking a question and then refusing to be bought off for shiny things. Nachiketa is probably the original person who refused to let algorithm making him distracted or keep him distracted. That shows that the Vedas and Upanishads are not dusty museum pieces. They are living documents. They are still being studied. They are still being recited. They have questions which the modern philosophy and neuroscience are still investigating. And here is something which I find quite extraordinary. One of these texts may be actually there somewhere in your family home even right now. Texts that philosophers called the greatest products of human wisdom. And scientists have said that these texts anticipated many of their discoveries. So these texts are asking the same questions which human being is trying to understand or trying to answer for 3,500 years, and that text, one of those texts, could be at your home. So maybe just open that text and try to read or try to understand. Next episode, reincarnation. And I'm not going to start with religion. I'm going to refer to a psychiatrist at University of Virginia who has built a database of 2,500 children who remember their past lives. And this database includes ordinary children from all over the world, from some of the families who have never heard in reincarnation. And these children have pointed out events, places which they have experienced in their past life. And many of these events, places have been independently verified. So next episode, what the tradition says about the concept of soul and what a medical researcher at an American university found when he went and investigated it. So stay with me for the next episode.